Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Aew Dynamite After Show. I am Excalibur, and I am joined by my broadcast colleagues, Jim Ross, the legendary Hall of Fame voice of professional wrestling, and the human suplex machine himself, and the human managerial machine himself, Taz. Gentlemen,
Yes,
thank you for
that's
joining
a
us
new
here on this
one.
great
Hello,
Wednesday
thank you,
night.
thank you. I don't like the word manager. I am a manager. I'm a broadcaster. I'm a jack of all trades. Sorry to interrupt you while JR was jumping in, but I have something to say. I'm an advisor. I'm a coach, and I guess I'm a manager too. I don't like the word managerial though, Excalibur. I like manager.
I thought you were going to say Quiznos has a manager, but Brian Cage has an advisor.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay, great. Yeah, it was pretty funny. All right, got it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
JR,
all right.
how's Oklahoma treating you?
Good. 95 degrees. It's
Whew.
hot. It's pool
Yeah.
weather, and my large carcass was there today. I don't mind saying it. So it's you you get old and fat where sometimes it's even too hot to be in the pool. Is that possible?
Yeah, that's funny actually. That's a shoot. Yeah, you just feel like the water just and the sun and it just ripples off someone's fat when they're too fat. The water. I know what you mean. Yeah. It's like,
Well, speaking of hot, we had a hot episode of Dynamite here tonight, and the details for Fighter Fest finally coming out July 1st and July 8th. It'll be a two-night event, 8/7 Central on TNT. It'll take over the Dynamite broadcast, similar to how Bash at the Beach did earlier this year, and we're really looking forward to that. We've got a couple great matches already lined up, and I think in the coming weeks we'll have even more to look forward to for Fighter Fest. So, JR, we kicked off the show with that big tag team match. Hangman Page, Kenny Omega reunited, defending their titles against Jimmy Havoc and Kip Sabian in a pretty interesting encounter.
Yeah, I was entertained by it. I thought it was a good match and had fun broadcasting it and watching it tonight as well. I really have been impressed the last couple of weeks with the chemistry that Jimmy Havoc and Kip Sabian have. I think there's something there for that team. Even though they didn't win tonight, they lost to the best team in the company. So I was impressed by the skill sets of both teams, and I saw where very little rust. I asked about that on air. I didn't see any rust with the inactivity of Hangman Page in the last several weeks. So he picked up where he left off, and I enjoyed the good opener, really good opener.
And Taz, we've seen Kenny Omega and Kip Sabian over the course of the AEW, whether it's on Dark or Dynamite. They've scored off a couple times, but in your mind, Taz, what do you think about the chemistry between Kenny Omega and Kip Sabian as opponents?
yeah, it just clicks. It works. I mean, you're right. We have seen Excalibur, and it's just a perfect balance of two guys that are ultra athletic. One guy's a little bit bigger than the other guy in Omega. Both world travelers, in the business, and they both have an international feel and vibe to their style. So I get what you're saying. But I want to say off of what JR was just saying about the chemistry between Havoc and Kip Sabian, completely agree. And, Excalibur, you and I called Dark, and Jimmy and Kip have been on Dark a whole bunch, tagging up for quite some time. So folks that watch Dark on the AEW official YouTube channel, that chemistry we see each week on Dark jump out more and more to the point that on Dynamite, as they collided with the tag team champions, to JR's point, you really saw the chemistry. So I completely agree with that.
Yeah, it's kind of like the situation between Omega and Page, where they started out as two individuals and then they kind of coalesced as a tag team. And we saw Havoc and Sabian start to head down that road. And I don't think this is the last time that they're going to be in the tag team title picture here in AEW. They've found a good unit together.
I'm not fully sold that everything's good, all pieces in the valley, as they say, with Omega and Hangman.
Yeah,
I don't have a lot to base it on. It's a gut feeling, and I hope I'm wrong because they're very entertaining and a high-level team. When they're on, and that's the great thing about, I think, AEW's tag team division. Man, it's getting really, really good. Some of these young kids are getting better, and then you get a team like you as a promoter or a booker, you dream for a team like Sabian and Jimmy Havoc to just come together and work. You didn't plan for it. They were available. So they came together one night, let's say on dark, it worked. So, and they're only going to get better now if they can focus on that. Taz, you know how it is that when you're on your run or you're getting booked, there's a different mindset in being in a tag and being in a single. And there's a different mindset when you're getting TV time and when you're not.
Changes everything. It's happened to me more than once. It changes everything. It does. But JR, I agree, man. Like, if you're Kenny Omega and Hangman Page, I'll tell you what, they better watch their ass, man, because there's a lot of, to the point you're making, some badass tag teams in this company. We just had a new badass team come in, FTR. I mean, from we can go through a litany of them, from FTR to Butcher and Blade. I mean, Jurassic Express. You could go on and on. Best Friends. Private Party. The Young Bucks. I mean, I'll tell you, I know the Elite there's always some kind of issues going on with the Elite. I get it, and Omega and Page. Page is kind of his own animal. I understand that he's kind of drinks a little too much and all that shit. I'm telling you right now, though, they got to beware, because there's a lot of legitimate tag teams that could take those titles at any time. Tonight they got by Havoc and Sabian, but they got to beware.
And we did find out that it will be the Best Friends, the number one contenders, that take on to challenge for the titles at Fyter Fest. They will take on Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page. So what was already a very interesting card now gets even more interesting. Every AEW title will be defended at Fyter Fest. So that's another thing to look forward to. And speaking of which, the man that will challenge for the AEW World Championship at Fyter Fest, the man that will face Jon Moxley, none other than Brian Cage. And Taz, I will cede the floor to you. What do you think about Brian Cage's performance against Sean Dean here tonight?
Well, it was completely dominant. It was no shocker. He kicked the living shit out of him, and that's what should happen, okay? But that's not the issue that I have. I have an issue with a lot of people in the company right now. I got an issue with everybody except for Brian Cage. I got an issue with the world champion in Moxley. I'm pissed off at a lot of people. I feel like Brian Cage is just looked at as just another opponent for Jon Moxley, just another victim, for Jon Moxley's checkbox. Okay, look, I put Mox over. I respect him. I know his history well. In every place he's worked, I know what he's done. I respect his body of work, his ability. A guy who's a pay your dues guy, a guy who came into business the right way, a no shortcut guy. He's a no bullshit guy. He's a tough son of a bitch. I respect all that. I do. But I'm telling you right now, people in this company, AEW, need to recognize what Cage is about. You are not going to find a potpourri of adjectives that you could put in one human body, one machine body, from athleticism to size and power, to years of experience, to some big match experience, to rage, intensity, bloodthirsty. This dude has got all of that. Why are more people in this company not talking about him? I don't understand this. So, JR, you asked the question last week on Dynamite, like what I'm so pissed about. I cut a promo in the ring. I was so pissed after he was dominant, Cage. I'm pissed because I don't feel like he's being respected enough. And the guy has earned that, maybe not in AEW yet, but in the industry. And what he's going to do to Mox come Fyter Fest, then maybe people will respect it more.
Well, certainly it's up to Cage to deliver at Fyter Fest.
Abilities, and if you can plant that seed in him, Taz, that he's not respected, that's going to bode well for him. It's going to be a great motivator, quite frankly. I was watching working with Conrad Thompson on some Grill and JR shows.
I'm pissed at him too. I'm pissed at him too. Tell him I'm pissed at him too, Conrad. Sorry, JR. Continue.
I didn't understand what you said. Maybe that's a good news. I'm just saying, I went back and looked at some video.
It wasn't fun.
Of young Scotty Steiner.
Yeah.
And young Scotty Steiner reminds me of Cage. Athletic, muscular, vascular, powerful, but he's got quickness. And Scott Steiner in his youth had great quickness, great athletic abilities. And this kid's got the same thing. So it's going to be a real challenge for Moxley, without a doubt. He's never faced anybody quite like this. And I know Cage is going to be motivated. I know Taz is going to be motivated. This is a big time deal, man. So big money floating out somewhere for somebody to have. It'll be interesting to see it at Fighter Fest.
Yeah, Fighter Fest is a pay-per-view level event that we're actually giving away for free on Dynamite on July 1st and July 8th, 8/7 Central on TNT, Fight TV, wherever you get Dynamite, you will get Fighter Fest on July 1st and July 8th. And coming up next on Dynamite, we had Le Champion, Chris Jericho, taking on Colt Cabana. The
Wait,
event.
whoa! That's it. That's all we're gonna talk about Brian Cage, just like that. We're gonna move on and talk about Chris Jericho now. That's how
Taz, I thought it was your wife's birthday and you had to get out of here.
It is, but I'm getting hot, and now my wife's hot at me. So now you guys get to spend more time with me.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
Please continue on Brian Cage. What else do you have to say?
Well, I mean, Excalibur, you've called a lot of his matches before he came to this company.
I have.
You know his history very well. I mean, why don't you take the time right now to tell everyone how great this guy is? You know the whole effing machine. You were the guy saying, he's an effing machine. I know what you did and said. You put him over. Put him over now.
Well, I mean, the thing is, if Brian Cage had matches longer than 3 minutes, I might have a chance to. But unfortunately, he's putting everybody away so quickly that I can't sing his praises. But I will do so here.
Hold on, bro.
Yeah.
So what is he supposed to do? He's supposed to prove something and prove how much of a team player he is by going with an enhancement guy for 15 friggin' minutes? We don't play like that. JR said it on the broadcast tonight. He don't get paid by the hour. It's about victories. It's about wins. You know that.
I know that. And to your point, Brian Cage is a world-class competitor. He has competed all over the United States, Canada, Europe, and especially in Mexico. I mean, he's held world titles in Mexico. So he's not somebody that is inexperienced under the bright lights or being in the main event spot. And Brian Cage is not somebody that's going to back down. He's not going to wither in front of the challenge of Jon Moxley. But I think Jon Moxley in recent months has proven that he's willing to rise to the occasion. He faced Jake Hager in that empty arena match, and he defended that title against an MMA star, a thoroughbred. And then just a few weeks later, defended the title against Brody Lee back at Double or Nothing, a completely different type of match. But Moxley was able to shift. He was able to change his focus. And I think Jon Moxley is going to do his homework and he's going to prepare for Brian Cage. And so I know you have full faith in Brian Cage, but I think in the back of your mind, Taz, you have to believe in Jon Moxley as the world champ.
I completely agree in Jon Moxley as the world champ. There's no doubt. You're 1,000,000,000% correct. I do believe in him. I do. And that's the thing. I am concerned about Moxley, hence why I will do my best effort to make sure Cage is prepared. The machine will be prepared. There is not a joint lock or submission that Jon Moxley can apply that I don't know how to tell this guy how to get out of. Not a joint lock or submission. Not one. I don't give a shit how many dojos he's rolling around in. Okay? Yes, JR.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
How important is it for you personally to make sure this first voyage of your career in advising, coaching, managing, whatever, how important is it for you to make this work first time out with opportunity to walk away managing the champion?
Well, that's the key is the last sentence you said, in my opinion. Okay, for me personally, because it's not about me, it's about Brian Cage. But I get what you're asking me, and it's a legitimate question. To me, selfishly, if I could say I represent the world heavyweight champion here in AEW, that would be an amazing thing selfishly for me. But I am trying to invest for Brian Cage in Brian Cage. Hey, I've been blessed. I've had a lot of big matches. I've won championships. I've had opportunities. I've won some. I've lost some. So I've been blessed. I'm Dunsky. Okay. But I'll tell you, from a selfish perspective, yeah, I would love to say I'm managing the world heavyweight champion. And come Fighter Fest, there's a really good chance that's going to happen. We're almost there.
See, I look at it as the next phase of your career. It's another layer to what you've already accomplished. And you are the structure, et cetera, et cetera. I can't see that mindset you personally changing. So therefore, it's easy to put pressure on yourself to make sure that this shit works.
Right. Right. You're not throwing me out of the announce desk, right? I just want to make sure I'm understanding this right.
I'm not personally.
No, I'm just saying you're launching a vessel here. So, and I know it's important, it's damn near as important to you, if not as much as it is to Brian Cage to win as it is that you want to win. And I think that's the attitude you have to have, because if you don't have that attitude, he's not going to have that attitude.
Correct. And in closing on Brian Cage, JR, you know me better than a lot of people in this company. Okay. You know me a very long time, and you know me very well. You know that everything I do, I have my hands in, I try to make the best always. I don't take a shortcut, and you're no different. Okay. So I want this to work for Brian. I also want this to work for me. But I feel like having a champion in this company, and it's no disrespect on Mox, because I do think he's a hell of a champion. He's a tough son of a bitch. But having a guy that's multitasking in talent and ability and size and power and look and all that, like a Brian Cage, changes everything as the world champion. He'd be unbeatable. And come Fighter Fest, hopefully that goes down. I'm going to do my best effort to make sure Cage is prepared. And I got a feeling he will be.
Yeah, Fighter Fest coming up July 1st and 8th, 2-night event on Dynamite. Wherever you get Dynamite, you will get Fighter Fest, whether on TNT, TSN up in Canada, ITV, Fight TV, wherever you get it, you will have Fighter Fest. You will be able to see every single AEW World Championship title defended on that great 2-night event. And speaking of championships, Le Champion, the first ever AEW World Champion, defeats Colt Cabana here tonight. Colt Cabana looking to have something of a crisis of confidence, but JR, we saw the baddest man on the planet answer the challenge of Chris Jericho when Orange Cassidy came to the ring. And that was quite unexpected.
No, you dropped out there, so I didn't hear your final.
Sorry. The Orange Cassidy coming out when Jericho beckoned the baddest man on the planet. Orange Cassidy was the one that answered the call.
I still ain't getting it, so I'm sorry. Audio's bad tonight.
Well, Taz, did you hear me?
Audio's not good.
I heard you. Do I have to talk about Orange Cassidy, or do I have to talk about Chris Jericho? You want my opinions on it? What are we looking for, Excalibur?
Yeah. Tell me, what did you think about Orange Cassidy answering Chris Jericho's challenge?
Well, I think Orange Cassidy is a guy who, as we've witnessed, and you know him a long time, is underratedly talented in the ring. He's aligned with best friends, and they have a great thing going. Orange Cassidy, athletically, like I said, is underrated. Now, let's just say hypothetically, someone like yours truly was in the ear of an Orange Cassidy with his ability and his shtick and what he's about, and that Lazy Man Jones gimmick, and then pulling out that true athleticism he has, what we've seen in him. I'm sure I could bring him to higher heights than he's at right now, but he's doing great for himself right now. And I think answering Jericho's challenge is pretty cool. I respect that. I like Orange.
Well, Taz, if you were managing Orange Cassidy, do you think
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Orange. I'm just going to say I was a fan of Orange Cassidy. I think he adds a lot to our show. I think he's better and better. And when we were having crowds, how they responded to him told me volumes about all I needed to know about Orange Cassidy. He's a very bright guy, folks. He's very cerebral. He gives a shit. And he understands his shortcomings as far as size is concerned. And this may not make me popular with some of my old friends, like my good friend Jim Cornette, but I'm an Orange Cassidy fan because he entertains the audience in a unique way, non-traditional, without a doubt. And I know he does some things that raise eyebrows, his casualness. I don't think that the announcers, including yours truly, have really done a great job in describing who he is. And I think that he's one of our talents that could really use character development through a vignette program so that we can understand his mindset and who he is, so we can understand the character better. The better you understand the character, the more you can get over. So I'm a big Orange Cassidy guy, and I'm glad he's on our team, and I think he's only going to get better and better, quite frankly.
Well, JR, along those lines, I mean, one of the mission statements when AEW first started was that it's going to be a little bit of a variety show. There's going to be something for everyone, whether you're passionate about, hard hitting world title matches, fast paced, exciting tag team matches, or some of the newer styles of pro wrestling that have been popping up on the independent scene in the last couple of years. AEW, I mean, we've really stuck true to that mission statement. There is something for everyone. It's not a homogenous product. There's not just one style that is, that everybody is kind of forced into that cookie cutter. It's everybody is allowed to be free, to have the creative control over their character, how they're presented. And Orange Cassidy is a case for that. Darby Allin is another case for that. It's a lot of young guys that have a lot of great ideas that aren't being shoved into a box.
Well, here's the deal. If I thought that I was coming to a Spot Fest and what the indies are doing the last 2 or 3 years or 5 years, I could give two shits less, and I wouldn't come. But that's not how it was explained to me. How it was explained to me is what we're seeing. Hey, look, we'll talk about it in a few minutes. That match that Cody and Boy was an excellent old school pro match. Bottom line, the tag team match, solid as hell. Not a lot of bullshit. Stuff where, oh my God, not that again. But that's how Tony Khan explained it to me. He had a little Mid-South flavor, a little realism. He wanted athleticism and hard hitting and reality-based athletic competition. And so I think we're starting to accomplish that. But we've got to be smart enough as marketers and promoters to know that there is room for the non-traditionalist Orange Cassidys of the world. And here's me, been in the business since 1974, sitting before you saying there is definitely a place in today's wrestling for Orange Cassidy and others of his ilk. And so that's why I've said this about Jungle Boy. He's not going to ever be 6'3" and 245, but he can get over, and he is getting over. And in time, he'll be one of the most over baby faces this company has ever created. So I'm a big believer that we got to change in some ways, but I would not have fit into that scenario very well, where it's spot, catch me, over the top rope, catch me, leg slap, catch me. That's not my shit. Mm-hmm. So I like hard hitting, reality based wrestling, and that's what I think we got. I guarantee that's what we're trying Cage. He's not going to be a gimmick guy. No. He's going to beat the shit out of people. If they can handle it, they win. If they can't handle it, then they lose. Yeah. That's how it works.
Yeah, I couldn't be aligned with anyone that's not going to be physical as shit in the ring. And Brian's that. But about Orange Cassidy, he obviously we know a bit. I get what you're saying, Gerard, about vignettes. And if you did vignettes on him, it'd have to be exemplifying what he is. He's a slacker. He's lazy. That's the character. That's the gimmick. He just don't give a shit. It's a lot of people in wrestling, old school wrestling fans or people from the business. I'm not saying you, JR, or me or whoever, but are not opened up to something like that. This is a new time in the business where it's a different style of wrestling. It's still physical and hard hitting and all that. Yeah. But it's a different time. There's no such thing as house shows anymore. House shows were a thing of the past. There's no live event. You know what I mean? It's like it's TV wrestling now. So, and I know I'm not speaking to you guys like talking down to you. You guys know this. I'm just saying for fans watching that might not know that, but people like us, broadcasters in the industry here in AEW, we know this. We talk like this. It's a different time. So it's not like you can go have a guy can have 1 million house shows and try different things out. It's a different time now. So it's TV wrestling. I think there's more than a place for a guy like Orange Cassidy. All three of us are fans of what he does, and it's good reason. He's innovative, he's creative, and when the ding, ding, ding happens and he's got to get physical, the son of a bitch can go. I don't care who says that, who says he can't. I'm telling you, as a guy who took a lot of bumps in my fucking life, that dude can go.
Well, Taz, you talked about physical, you talked about hard hitting. The next matchup on Dynamite, Nyla Rose defeating Big Swole. It was great to have Big Swole back, but Nyla Rose, she rebounded very well from her loss at Double or Nothing to Hikaru Shida.
Yeah, I had a conversation after the pay-per-view, after her match, I should say, backstage in Jacksonville, and we had a little chat. She approached me, Nyla did, and we talked, and I just gave her some advice. She asked me, and I was happy to see it. I'm a fan of Big Swole also, but I was happy to see what she did and how she came out. When you come off of losing a championship and then you're slapped on TV, JR, you know this. That can go good or bad, and I think that Nyla handled it the right way.
Hey, I just noticed something, Excalibur.
Yes.
Taz has colored his goatee and has got new glasses.
No,
He looks
true.
like he's 40 years old.
No,
He's had a goddamn makeover.
No, that's not true. I didn't color anything.
Where'd the gray go? Did you pull it out?
No, I had gray, but it wasn't my gray. It was the monitor that we were working off on this post show. So it looked gray. It's your screen. It's your old ass iPad you're using. Now it's probably charged. So it looks. It's been like this for years, bro. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
I'm begging you to kayfabe. Thanks.
Well, I'm glad we got to the bottom of that, Taz. I mean, everybody was wondering about your Just for Men sponsorship, and I think it's all been cleared up now.
JR. Oh my God.
Hey, but I want to say, based on what Taz said about the ladies' match, I really enjoyed that match. I enjoyed calling it. You could tell that they had great effort. They were snug. The match was logical, and I think both ladies got over. To be honest with you, Nyla Rose is still the most dominant female in the company, bar none. Title or no title, she is the most dominant female in this company without question. Look at her physically; you can't prepare for her. There's nobody else like her. Just about everybody. So, and look at her record. It's pretty sparkling. But the other side of this coin is you got to have a winner, you got to have a loser. And in this case, I don't know if there was a true loser because I thought Big Swole showed great improvement from the last time that we saw her. It's very obvious that Big Swole is an amazing athlete. She's strong as hell. Former served our country in the Air Force. So she's got the right credentials, So I thought she did a really good thing for herself tonight, and I hope we get to see more of her in a significant way.
Yeah, I think Swole is somebody that unfortunately, because of the disruption to our schedule and the way that the quarantine and everything affected how we were doing business, she was somebody that, in February of this year was resonating with crowds. When she would come out, everybody would be chanting "Swole, Swole, Swole," and all of that just kind of went away. She had to cool her heels for 2 months or 2.5 months basically, and now coming back to Dynamite, having this match, I think she can hold her head high and be proud of this. Even though she wasn't able to pick up the victory, she acquitted herself very well, and I think is going to pick up right where she left off.
Yeah, she's a star. Like I said earlier, I'm a fan of Swole, and I do think that she's, in my opinion, she's someone that definitely can capture gold in the near future. She's got a tremendous look. She's an excellent athlete. She's very intelligent. I mean, I know you guys talked to her behind the scenes. I've talked to her many times. Very intelligent lady, and she's got a lot of passion to succeed in this business, and that's a massive, massive thing you need. And Swole has that along with toughness and athleticism.
Well, Taz, you want to talk about passions? We heard from FTR for the first time here on Dynamite, Dax Harwood, Cash Wheeler, and they are passionate about tag team wrestling. It is perhaps the only thing that they care about here in AEW. They were talking specifically, they're running down the list of the tag teams, and they mentioned specifically Hangman Adam Page, Kenny Omega. They are coming for them. They are coming for the AEW World Champion or Tag Team Championship titles. And they also want to take on the Young Bucks, but their priority here seems to be focused more on winning a championship than giving the fans the dream match they've been clamoring for years.
I think they're looking for recognition. I think they're looking to establish the best tag team in the world, bar none, no questions asked. And the way you do that as a tag team, you blow into AEW and you take on every son of a bitching team that there is, and you beat them. They got to beat people. We got them on TV next week for the first time against Butcher and Blade, and I'm looking forward to that. It'll be a very physical matchup because Butcher and Blade need to win too. They're just starting to get more TV time, so they want to protect their space in perception world. So I'm looking forward to that match. So, but I think they're here for that one reason. You know, they're going to make great money here. They got a great schedule. It's a hell of a place to work, as we all know. But man, you know, you want to come in and prove that you're the dominant duo in all of pro wrestling, and they can do that here, and they know that, and that's why they're here. Where they were before, can't say WWE, was they thought they were creatively stifled and smothered, and they had a philosophy they wanted to live out. These guys have been wanting to do this their entire life. They were influenced heavily by Arn and Tully, Midnight Express. So that's what they want to emulate. They grew up, that was an influence to them as a young, impressionable kid. So now they can live that dream, 100%. 100%. So I'm glad they're here with us, guys. I think they're going to be a great addition to our team.
Taz, yeah. I thought one of the great posts on social media when FTR debuted was when they were backstage in front of the step and repeat. It was FTR alongside Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it's cool. I don't really mark out for shit like that, but it was kind of cool. Just being honest. I mean, nobody took a picture of me. I mean, shit. I'm supposed to, I mean, really, I like FTR a lot. I love Arn and Tully, but like, am I supposed to like mark out? I don't know. I'm not going to do that, Excalibur. Sorry. But anyways,
I'm just saying it was cool.
Yeah, okay, great. It's cool. All right, great. So all the people that are commenting on this YouTube thing now could bury the shit out of me because I don't think.
Oh, they already were. So.
JR, I'm mad at you already because you stooged off my goatee, but that's a whole nother topic. All right. Listen, FTR saying they want gold.
Taz only marks out at catering. Taz only marks out at catering, guys, when they have Italian food. Those little cartons of food, little carton food we get.
Yeah,
because pasta for the jeweler. So
I know.
Some meatballs and some what do they call they don't call it sauce, gravy.
Yeah, gravy. Yeah,
meatballs and gravy.
Yeah, cornbread. No, so here's the deal.
You would have been great on The Sopranos.
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
You'd have been great on The Sopranos.
Yeah,
you would have.
Now, how would you feel if I said you would have been great on Hee Haw?
How much they pay? How much they pay? I don't give a shit.
Anyway, the last thing I am looking forward to is Italian food in Florida. That's the first thing, okay? So I might clamor for some Italian food, but it's definitely, as a New Yorker, nowhere in the South. No disrespect to any people in the South. I digress. Yeah. If I'm going
I'll talk to catering and tell them that you and Brian Cage are – I'll talk to catering and tell them that you and Brian Cage are both displeased with catering.
Oh, because I know you will, because you're going to be a stooge.
Use some saltines and a bottle of water.
So – listen, Brian walks around with meals. He's got he comes in with food. He's got coolers and shit. It's crazy. He won't give me any, but he has his own food. Listen, I want to say FTR coming in and almost not giving a hoot who the champions are. I like that mindset. Like JR said, no matter who it is or what it is, knock them down to get to the champions. I think it's a great mindset. I think it's a great way to be. I think their future is super bright here in AEW FTR.
Well, next up on Dynamite was our main event, the TNT Championship match. The first time the title was defended, and it was defended by Cody, who defeated Jungle Boy tonight. And JR, as you mentioned, it was an old school, it was a snug matchup, and it was kind of a throwback a little bit.
Mm. It was a great story. I enjoyed every moment of it. We taped that show last week, so I watched it here at home in Norman, and had not heard it. Wasn't preconditioned. We don't get screeners, or at least I don't. I don't get a lot of things I need, but nonetheless, I'm kidding. I really enjoyed the damn match.
You're smothered in Jaguars. Yeah, let me stop. Go ahead. The lag kills the bit. I said you're smothered in Jaguars gear.
It was
okay. You get everything you want. Stop.
Oh, okay. Well, I deserve it.
I didn't say you didn't.
You know, you're an insufferable son of a bitch, aren't you? You really are. Excalibur was right when he described you that way to me one day. He said he's insufferable. And I had to go look, and he's so smart. Excalibur is so smart, and he really is. I had to go look that word up. Insufferable. I said, yeah, that's Taz. He's right. And you're getting worse.
I should have.
Anyway, I thought they had a hell of a match. I loved it.
I'm sorry, guys. Sorry.
See, you're reverting to violence again. We can just quietly protest here, or we can have violence. That's bullshit. I'll choke somebody out. In my old days, I'd kill you. I know you would. You had one hold, a rear naked choke, and 88 suplexes. God bless you.
I love.
Anyway,
the match.
I thought they had a hell of a match.
Continue. Talk about the match. Yeah, they did have a great match, and
great
I think
respect for the effort of both guys. So I really enjoyed it. I thought Cody represented the championship as a champion should. I thought the underdog challenger fit right into where he was supposed to be. Cody getting the blood, I thought was very unusual, unexpected, but dramatic, and it worked because it wasn't overdone. But it helped tell the rest of the story. So I really enjoyed it from a broadcaster standpoint, and then again tonight from a fan standpoint, and watching that. And by the way, Taz, I thought you did a very good interview. I didn't get to mention it earlier on your post interview, and you look very angry. You got to work on that, man. You can't sell dolls and posters and shit like that with a scowl on your face all the time. You're a handsome man. Get your glasses off. You look good. You know. Walking tall, feeling proud.
Maybe not tall, but walking. But listen, I'm gonna be angry. I have to be angry. That's kind of what makes me be me, especially when I'm in a ring. But speaking of in the ring, just like you said, JR, this match for the TNT Championship, Cody and Jungle Boy, I too love the match. As I sat home and watched it, I really enjoyed it a lot. I felt like you guys both alluded to. It was hard hitting. It was physical. It was kind of an old school smash mouth type thing. I thought it was great for Jungle Boy to show that, hey, he can go toe to toe with a guy that is a champion, a man like Cody who has so much experience, who has a lot of size on Jungle Boy also. And they're exchanging one spot early in the match in the corner, forearm to chop. I loved it. And Cody utilizing his brain on the outside, scouting his opponent and utilizing on Anderson. I'm sure they scouted Jungle the right way. If, as you guys know, Jungle those 3 dives in a row, boom, boom, boom on the outside to his opponent. He nailed one, and then, if I remember correctly, Cody caught him on the second one and outpowered him and chucked him in the audience. Those little moments in the match, I think, is where that builds a champion, where you're able to cut a guy off because you're one step ahead of him, prepping, game planning, yada, yada.
Yeah, I thought Cody looked great tonight.
Good main event. Great way to close the show. I thought it was a great way to close the show, and that's the thing I think our company's trying to be built around is quality in-ring wrestling. And we had a very diverse card tonight. We had, that first match had a lot of spots, a lot of flying. The tag match, we had a very strong ladies match, physically strong ladies match. I like the story of Colt Cabana and Jericho. I think there's more for Colt Cabana to do, but for some reason at times, I don't take him as seriously as I should because he's very, very entertaining. His facial expressions, his body English is very, very entertaining and at sometimes lighthearted. So I think that if he, I don't want to say gritted his teeth, but theoretically, got a little bit more physical, that he has a great chance to do wonderful things here. If not, he's going to be in that category of he's really good, but man, is he funny?
Yeah, I think Cabana's somebody that has
to that degree. It's not a great thing.
Cabana's somebody that has the experience. He has he has the physicality, but kind of like an Orange Cassidy, doesn't always kick it into high gear until he needs to. And so if Cabana is able to kind of kick it into high gear, we will see next week on Dynamite when Colt Cabana takes on the Inner Circle Sammy Guevara 1-on-1. He'll have a chance to kind of prove that he took some lessons from this match with Chris Jericho. And not only that, we will have tag team action as the Butcher and the Blade take on the debuting FTR next week on Dynamite. That's going to be one that I think a lot of eyes are going to be on. And then also the TNT Championship will be on the line once again. Cody said he wants to be a fighting champion. Next week, he will be defending against Mark Quinn of Private Party. And as always, Dynamite is going to be jam-packed to the gills. There's going to be something for everybody. That's going to be a great, entertaining Wednesday night. And, when the folks at home spend their 2 hours with us every Wednesday night, that really means a lot to us. And we want to give them back something that equals or exceeds their time investment.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, it is a great card. I was surprised about Mark Quinn getting the nod. I'm intrigued by it. I'm curious on that matchup. But we're as we get, the old logic is, folks, you've been wrestling fans, and a lot of you on here are hardcore fans. You know that the shows leading up to a major event like Fyter Fest for us will be hot shows. They have to be. You have to build momentum. You can't say, well, we're going to say, we're not going to say things. We're going to roar here. And I think it's going to be good storytelling and some good matchups. And I don't know how much more time we have. I just want to say, we live in very unique times right now. Black lives do matter. And I just think that it's time for everybody to reevaluate how we treat people. And it starts individually. It can't start somewhere across town or another county or someplace else. We have to treat everybody, wherever we are in our interactions, a little bit more tolerant, a little bit more fair, equitable. It's just this racism stuff it's got to end. It's got to end. And when you go back and read about the history of racism, and where even in the 60s, African Americans couldn't swim in the same pool with white people in some public pools, it's embarrassing. What the fuck are we thinking? How can we even live that? So I'm just saying that in your interactions, whether you go to the airport, the grocery store, to Jacksonville, to see our mighty Jaguars, or wherever you are, if it starts with us, folks, and we can't fade the heat now, we can't pass the torch here, it's us. How we treat others is how they're going to treat somebody else. And if we all do that enough times, be nice to people we come in contact with, then all of a sudden it starts multiplying and we see a difference. Our leaders have got to help us, but we got to bring peace. This is a very chaotic time in our country. And to what Excalibur said, and I know in the soapbox, I'm sorry, I'll get off of it. We love bringing our shows to you guys. We love featuring a great young talent like Brian Cage with a new package to present with Taz, for example. We love seeing guys like Jungle Boy get a chance against a great star like our TNT champion. It's good for us. It's good for our soul to entertain you. And that's all we're trying to do, entertain you. So we thank you for being loyal to us every Wednesday night. We're getting better. And, the ratings have been great, quite frankly. So I'm just want to say that because it's just hard to, dealing with this shit every day. I had a demonstration a mile from my house is the Norman Mall. And we actually have a mall, believe it or not. And they had a protest there. And it's peaceful, everybody was cool. It worked. Great positive publicity. They got people engaged in it. And it wasn't a chaotic story about another vandalism. That's not demonstrating. That's thieves. Those are thieves. So,
I think that's what happened.
Negative light on the poor people that are trying to protest.
Yeah, I think that's what's been happening. Unfortunately, you have people that are trying to peacefully protest all over this country, and then you have some agitators that are in there that are straight up thugs and thieves, that are looting and robbing things and acting like complete assholes. And the people that are peacefully protesting, I don't care what color their skin is, it looks like, oh my God, this protest is violent and there are business owners that are losing their businesses and windows are getting broken. And meanwhile, the people that are there for the right reason, including the police, where they're just trying to keep law and order. I mean, I'm sure these cops don't want to be there getting stuff thrown at them and getting cursed at. And we can stereotype people. I don't think that every police officer is evil and bad. It's just my opinion. But yeah, but I do think a lot of the agitators have caused and still cause a major problem for the people that are protesting for the right reason. The horrible way this poor man lost his life, and how disgusting. And the looters and all that shit really burns my ass. I'm born and raised New Yorker in New York City. I've seen a lot of this stuff. I grew up around a lot of crime. As a kid, and in the schools I went to, like a ton of crime. So my high school was the first school to have metal detectors. So it's like, wow, we were lucky, because we had so much violence and gunplay and knives. And so I've seen a lot of places get robbed. I knew kids that were thieves. I knew a lot of bad kids. And then when I see some of the stuff on TV, it's so depressing. But I realize the people that are protesting are there for the right reasons. And it's tough because then, unfortunately, they get grouped in with these shitheads that are doing the wrong thing.
It's a very, very challenging issue. I mean, obviously everyone agrees that all lives matter. I mean, that's something that is used as a clapback to when people say Black Lives Matter. But the reason that the Black Lives Matter movement exists is because there is such systemic racism against people of African American origin in the United States. And it's very evident when it's perpetrated by the police, and that's the case that we had in Minneapolis. And so yes, the vast majority of protesters are there to peacefully abide by the rules and regulations, and they are there to get this message out that this systemic racism, that systemic violence needs to stop. We cannot go any further as a society if we continue under these current conditions. Unfortunately, there is a part of the police force in the United States that operates as if they're a paramilitary organization, and a paramilitary organization that's above the law. That is something that needs to be cut out at the root. And that is something that I think that is the message that these protesters are trying to send. Yes, not all cops are bad, but the bad ones, it's the analogy, one bad apple spoils the bunch. And so
exactly,
that's the issue that we have at hand. And I didn't expect to get on this soapbox either, but that's what you get with the Aew Dynamite after show.
Yeah, well, it's real life, I mean, people come and they watch an after show or they watch Dynamite.
Well, what
I was going to say was people come to, they want to escape and to get away, but we're talking about this because it affects everyone, and as public figures, I guess we have some sort of an obligation to give an opinion, and maybe like JR, starting this conversation, maybe it sparks people to realize that, or maybe to be the right way towards each other, be kind to each other, no matter what someone, where they're from, what part of the country, what color their skin is, what their religious beliefs are.
It's all going, no matter what route we take, guys, no matter what route we take, it starts with us. Simple as that. Don't need a committee, don't need this side of the aisle, that side of the aisle. Leadership in the White House is what we have. He's got to do a better job in galvanizing the public and bringing people together, and not being threatening with all threats about military invasion and all this other bullshit. Now it's not the time for strong arm. Now it's not the time for that. There's a bigger picture there than the looters. You're addressing the looters? Why don't you address racism? We're addressing the goddamn looters and who broke into the Gucci shop and ran away with a bunch of bags. Come on. You got to be kidding me. So in any event, it's our obligation. I'm with you, Ted. As public figures, we want to know sometimes how we feel, and it's only our opinion. my opinion does not reflect AEW in one iota. That's me talking.
Same.
Like I would on my podcast.
Same here. Yeah.
Like Taz would, Excalibur. We're just us guys here talking. That's all. So we're glad you guys join us on Wednesday nights, Monday nights. I used to work on Monday nights years ago.
Me too.
Oh, you got Mondays off now.
Now we're off Monday. Yeah, that's funny.
Well, I think that's
Wednesday. Go ahead.
That's as good of a place to leave it. I don't think we're going to solve all the world's issues here. And I know, Taz, you've got some family commitments. Please wish your wife a very happy birthday. Sorry to take you away from the celebrations here tonight, but hopefully,
trust me, she's happy when
They're
I'm not
celebrating
around.
his new beard. It's wonderful.
I am begging you to kayfabe. So
Right. I love it.
I
might
didn't do
this.
anything.
Maybe when I get to Jacksonville next week, I'll look like Johnny Cash.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you do it, JR, if you do dye your goatee, I will not stooge it off to the world. I won't do that.
You heard it here first, folks.
I won't.
Well, everyone, thank you for joining us on an always entertaining, always unpredictable AEW Dynamite post show. We will see you next week live on TNT 8/7 Central. It's going to be a barn burner, and we're excited for you to join us, and we're excited to be able to call the action next week. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.